Hello and namaste. In this video we are going to discuss different language pattern and how people communicate, and this is a part of NLP. Now we all know that we are driven by our senses. Whatever the meaning we make in life is through our senses, and if the senses are polluted, the meaning that we make can be polluted. For example, if there is a blind person, the person's vision has been polluted, so the meaning he makes out of the world will be different. So in this particular instance, if you remember the story about 11 blind people trying to touch the elephant and trying to figure out what it is. One person says it's a rope, one person says it's the trunk of the tree, some other person says something else. So when the senses are polluted, the meaning that we make out of it becomes polluted. So it's very important we purify our senses. When we are dealing with interpersonal communication, when we are dealing with how people communicate with each other, it's important that the information that we are processing is correct, is exact, which is why it's important to repeat and understand, reiterate what the person is trying to say, and if it overlaps and is in same page with what you think. Okay, this is really important. This is a part of rapport building. What is rapport? Rapport is basically being in sync with the other person. When you're communicating, for example, I am communicating with you. Right now I'm recording this video. But if we were communicating together, a lot of times I'll be reaffirming whether you understand correctly. And if you were saying something, I would be reaffirming if I am understanding something correctly. Now, why is this important? Because our whole meaning making happens out of senses. And there are mainly three ways in which we make meaning, or three ways in which we learn and comprehend things. These three ways are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual is visually we understand what's happening around the world. Auditory is auditorily we understand what's happening. K is kinesthetic, is via feeling we understand. There are two more alternative ways in which we make meaning. These are not much active, and this is olfactory and gustatory. Olfactory is smell, making meaning out of smell. For most people, this is not the primary form of meaning making. And then there is gustatory, which is taste. Again, this is a secondary way of meaning making. I will go into the detail of why this is important in just a second. And there is one more additional meaning making process that happens internally. This is internal dialogue. This is called auditory digital. Basically the inner voice that we hear, and inner voice is helping us comprehend whatever is happening in our life. This is especially important for people who get lost in their own thought, or people who get depressed a lot. They ruminate, like the NF song says, they ruminate a lot. So these are the people who make the meaning in life via auditory digital. Now what happens is when you're communicating with someone, so let's understand how the visual or auditory or kinesthetic people say the same thing, okay, for you to understand. So the visual person will say when communicating, I can see what you're trying to say. Okay, this is the way visual person communicate. See, vision, light. How the auditory person will say? Auditory person say, I hear you. I can hear what you're trying to say. I am listening. These are something in which the same person, a different person can communicate the same thing. The third person, the kinesthetic individual, will say, I feel you. I can feel what you're trying to say. Same thing. I see you. I see what you're trying to say. I hear what you're trying to say. I feel what you're trying to say. These are the same things, but each individual, since each individual is unique and each individual make meaning differently, it's important you communicate correctly to each one of them. Now this leads to communication error, because you may want someone to see something, but they are a person that feels something. This is why most of the relationship conflicts happens. The woman wants their husband to feel what they are feeling, but the husband is more visual. They do not interact or they do not communicate with feeling. They are trying to communicate visually or auditorily. The husband says, I love you, but the woman does not feel. So the wife thinks that the husband does not love them, and the husband is confused. Husband is trying to communicate his love via auditory signal, but the meaning making for the wife does not happen. okay, because the meaning making for the wife is mostly too kinesthetic. So this leads to communication error. Now, who is wrong and who is right in this scenario? Actually, nobody is wrong. It's the fault of both the individual, it's fault of no one. If both the individual understand NLP, then they would have known how to communicate, how to communicate correctly with their partners. So this is really important for you to understand how to communicate with each other. Now, similarly, the auditory digital, a person who is mostly auditory digital will say there is no logic in what you're trying to say. He will try to decipher the logic, he will try to make and integrate it with the inner world. Mostly such kind of person are overthinker, such kind of person are lost in their own self, they are introverted in a way. They are trying to get the information and trying to integrate with them, especially when talking to others. These are mainly the main ways or language pattern in which people communicate with each other and people make meaning. And it's important you understand this, okay? And when you're going into interpersonal communication, it's important you reiterate what the other person is trying to say, because of the difference in meaning making and because of the difference in the language people use to make meaning within themselves, a lot of miscommunication will happen. If you're in a workplace, while communicating, person may think that he has communicated correctly, but it's your responsibility as an individual who is making a meaning for himself that you reiterate, okay, the same thing that the person has said word by word. This will help you understand and reiterate the information within yourself, and also communicate with the other person that you understand correctly, and if there is an error, you can spot it early on. In the relationship, same thing can happen. Wife comes and says you do not love me, okay? You can ask, instead of getting mad, as a husband, as a boyfriend, instead of getting mad, you can ask, what makes you think I do not love you? The woman can say, or the wife or your partner can say, I do not feel the love. And now you know that you are not communicating the feeling of love. Maybe it's touch for her, maybe it's hug for her, maybe it's kisses for her. You're not communicating the feeling of love. So you have to change your pattern. Instead of saying just I love you, instead of saying giving gifts, which is a visual addition, you share your love with her, you spend time with her. Same thing can be in reverse. A man may say, a partner may say, a male person may say that I do not hear you say anything good about me, okay? And the woman might be giving him all his love, okay, sharing his love kinesthetically, hugging him, helping him, and she might think she is giving all the love the person deserves, but the man is not able to make meaning within himself. Here is the responsibility of the woman or the female partner to say positive things, to affirm the person and how person is important for her, okay? So this is really important to understand. This is really important for you, for your day-to-day life, for your professional life, or even when you are going ahead and helping others improve their own life. So that was language pattern in NLP. To conclude, there were three main language patterns. These are visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Two secondary patterns that are not as widely used. These are olfactory and gustatory. Mostly olfactory and gustatory are interlocked. Then we have another, we can call it tertiary or related to the primary language pattern. This is auditory digital. This is mostly the communication you have with yourself, or mostly related to logical and analytic communication that you're trying to decipher the meaning around you into your internal dialogue. That's all for this video. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please like this video, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. It's We Eat Confidence, and also Yoga Mind Mastery on YouTube. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next video then.